Welcome students. In today's video session, we will learn about inflorescence and we will study about a typical flower. In the last video sessions, we have studied about vegetative parts of the plant. Now we will learn about the reproductive part, that is flower of the plant, angiospermic plant. So let's start. First, we are going to study about inflorescence. What is the meaning of inflorescence? Inflorescence refers to arrangement of flowers on its axis. How flowers are arranged on the axis. What is the pattern of the growth of flower? Is there any set pattern or flowers grow likewise? No. There is a set pattern of growth of flower on its axis. They grow on the axis in a particular manner, and that particular manner, the arrangement of flower on its axis is called inflorescence. Inflorescence explains the growth of flower and arrangement of flower. Basically, the inflorescence is of two types: racemose inflorescence and cymose inflorescence. Racemose and cymose inflorescence. The racemose inflorescence is the inflorescence where the main axis continues to grow. This main axis will continue to grow. The flowers are present in acropetal succession. You can see the base is having bigger and older flowers, and as we grow upward, the flowers are new. It means that the older flowers are growing at the base, and in the elongated axis, new flowers are growing. Such type of manner is called acropetal, towards the tip. We can say acropetal as towards the tip. Means new plants are present at the top and older plants are present at the towards the base. So older and bigger plants, flowers at the base, and new and small flowers towards the tip. The growth of the floral axis in racemose inflorescence is unlimited. As in the first point we discussed that main axis continues to grow. So the growth of this axis is unlimited and the plant is having unlimited growth. The next inflorescence is called cymose inflorescence. The cymose inflorescence is a type of inflorescence where growth of main axis is limited. It doesn't continues to grow. So here the growth is limited. The tip of main axis is converted into a flower first. So since the tip bears the very first flower, then it stops growing, and that's why it is having a limited growth. The next flowers are grown after the tip in a basipetal succession. It is called basipetal succession. Means flowers are growing towards the base. Bigger and older flowers at the top of the plant, and smaller and newer ones gradually towards the base. So such type of inflorescence where the limited growth of floral axis is seen, where the main axis is found with flower, and where flowers are grown in a basipetal succession, such type of inflorescence is called cymose succession. You can also diagrammatically show it in such a way. In racemose inflorescence, flowers are growing towards the top, and in cymose inflorescence, flowers are growing towards the base. Example of racemose succession inflorescence, it can be seen in wheat plant, maize plant, rice plant, grass, all these plants show racemose inflorescence, whereas cymose can be seen in the flower of Bougainvillea, Calotropis, etc. So these are two different types of inflorescence. Just a quick recap. Racemose inflorescence, the main axis continues to grow. The growth of main axis is unlimited and flowers grow in an acropetal succession from base towards the top. Example, wheat, rice, maize, grass, etc. In cymose inflorescence, the growth of main axis is limited. The first flower grows on the top of the main axis and flowers are grown in a basipetal succession, that is from top towards the base. Example, Bougainvillea and Calotropis. The flower is the reproductive part of an angiospermic plant. A flower is actually a modified shoot. Internodes are reduced and axis is condensed. On the axis, various floral leaves are arranged, and since the internodes are very much compact or reduced, so all these floral leaves are seen to arise from a single place. But actually it is not like that. Now we will study about the structure and features of a typical flower. But before that, we must understand, we must get familiar with some terms associated with flower that we will come in contact with during the lecture. So, following are some terms which are very important to know before we start the study of the flower. The very first is peduncle. Peduncle means the axis bearing the flower. The axis which bears the flower is called peduncle. The stalk of the flower is called pedicel. The part of the flower which connects it from the shoot. So that circular tubular part is called pedicel. The flowers having pedicel are called pedicellate, and the flowers which are not having pedicel and are directly attached to the axis are called sessile. Next term is thalamus. Thalamus is the upper swollen end of pedicel. Pedicel ends on a swollen end, and on that swollen end floral leaves, floral parts are arranged. So that upper swollen end of a pedicel is called thalamus, which bears other floral leaves. All the floral leaves are arranged on thalamus. We know that a typical flower has 4 parts. We have studied it in standard 10, parts of flower. So a typical flower has 4 kinds of holes. When we start from outer to inner, the first one is calyx, then corolla, androecium and gynoecium. We will study about all these in detail. Sometimes the floral leaves cannot be calyx and corolla basically. Sometimes the calyx and corolla cannot be distinguished. They either a single is present or we cannot distinguish whether it is a calyx or a corolla. A single hole is present and it is neither resembling a typical calyx nor a typical corolla. So in such condition, that floral hole is called perianth. So perianth can be defined as floral hole which is neither completely calyx nor corolla. Example is lily. In lily plant, we can find out perianth. Calyx and corolla are called accessory holes because these function is not directly associated with reproduction process, but it helps in reproduction. Calyx protects the flower and corolla helps in pollination. So these are not directly involved in reproduction process, so these are called accessory holes. Androecium being male part of the flower and gynoecium being female part of the flower directly involved in reproduction and hence are called essential or necessary holes of the flower. So calyx and corolla are accessory holes and androecium and gynoecium are essential holes. The next term is complete flower. When a flower is having all the 4 holes present in it, it is called a complete flower. Means the flower having all the 4 holes, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium, such flowers are called complete flowers. If any of the part is absent out of these 4 parts, 4 holes, if any hole is absent, such flowers are called incomplete flowers. If the flower is incomplete in the means of any essential holes, means if either androecium or gynoecium is present or absent, it is unisexual flower. If both the essential holes are present, it is bisexual flower. Bisexual means the flower having both androecium and gynoecium in a flower. So generally, complete flowers are bisexual flowers. The example of bisexual flower is China rose, pea plant, etc. Unisexual flowers are the flowers which are having only one of the essential holes. Either it is having androecium or it is having gynoecium. Depending upon that, it will be known as male flower or female flower. Male flower is also called staminate flower as it is having stamen, and female flower is called pistillate as it is having pistil or carpel. So having stamen makes a unisexual flower male or staminate, and having pistil or carpel makes a unisexual flower pistillate. When the flowers of unisexual type, both male and female, are present on the same plant. In case of unisexual flower, 2 types of flowers are there. One is male flower, one is female flower. If both type of flowers are present on the same plant, it is called monoecious plant. Monoecious plants are the plants which are having some flowers male and some females. Example of monoecious plants are maize and the plants of Cucurbitaceae family like gourds, cucumber, etc. So these are monoecious plants where in the same plant some flower is male and some is female. On the other hand, dioecious plants are the plants where both flowers are present on separate plant. It means a single plant is having either only male flower or only female flower. So such plants can also be considered as male plant or female plant. The plant having all male flowers are known as male plant, and plant having all female flowers are considered as female plant. The example of dioecious plants, date palm, papaya, etc. So these are some definitions that we will go through during the lecture, and these are some different characteristics of flower. Next, we will start with floral symmetry. Floral symmetry. Floral symmetry refers to the proportion and ratio of floral parts so that it can be divided in equal halves. Floral symmetry is of three types. It is actinomorphic, zygomorphic and asymmetric. Actinomorphic is a condition where a flower can be divided into two equal halves when cut lengthwise from more than one plane. You can see it is it can be found in spherical or circular type of flowers, and it is like bilateral symmetry that we study in animals. So you can see over here there are various planes. If we cut the flower in such a way, two equal halves will be there. Again, if we cut it in such a way, two equal halves will be there. If we cut it in such a way, here likewise. So various planes are there, various possibilities are there from which if we cut the flower, it will be divided into two equal halves. Such type of symmetry is called actinomorphic symmetry, and example of such flowers are lily, chili, mustard, etc. These are ectomorphic flowers which can be divided or cut into two equal halves from more than one plane. The other is zygomorphic. These are the types of flower which can be divided into two equal halves through a single plane only. If the flower is cut in such manner, only then we will get two equal halves. Otherwise, we will not get, if we cut it in this plane or in that plane, the halves will not be symmetrical, not be equal. So, if the flower is providing only a single plane through which it can be cut into equal halves, it is called zygomorphic. Example of such flowers, pea and beans. The third type of symmetry is called asymmetric. As the name suggests, these flowers do not provide any plane through which it can be cut into two equal halves. So the body, you can say, is irregular in shape and cannot be cut into two equal halves. The example is canna. So on the basis of floral symmetry, flowers can be divided into three parts. Actinomorphic, where flowers can be cut into two equal halves through more than one plane. Example is chili, mustard, lily. The second is zygomorphic, where there is only a single plane present through which if flowers are cut, they can be divided into two equal halves. Example, pea and beans. And third is asymmetric flower, which do not have any plane through which it can be divided into two equal halves. Example, canna. Now we will study about the flower depending upon number of floral appendages present. Means the number of calyx, corolla. So on the basis of number of these structures, these floral appendages, flowers can be divided into three types. The very first one is trimerous flowers. Trimerous are the flowers having floral appendages 3 or a multiple of 3. So it means that the floral appendages present over here are either in number 3 or they are in a multiple of 3. Trimerous is a characteristic feature of monocot plants. Monocot plants generally have flowers having 3 or its multiple calyx, corolla, etc. Second is tetramerous. It is a condition where floral appendages are 4 in number or they are a multiple of 4. The floral appendages are either 4 or they are in a multiple of 4. Then such flowers are called tetramerous. And the third type is called pentamerous condition, where floral appendages are either 5 in number or they are multiple of 5. So pentamerous condition, flowers show 5 floral appendages or multiple of 5. Each is having either 5 or a multiple of 5. Pentamerous is a characteristic feature of dicot plants. Dicot plants show pentamerous flowers. The next part is bracts. These are not essential parts of the flower. Small structure may be present in the axil of flowers. These are very small, usually small structures. Sometimes they are big in shape also, but usually these are small structure which are present in the axil of flowers. Flower having bract is called bracteate. Example, China rose, lily. Flower not having bract is called ebracteate. Example, mustard. It is present before the calyx. So, just before the calyx, there is a green structure present, generally, usually green in color, small in size, and it is called bract. If it is present, the flower is called bracteate. If it is not present, the flower is called ebracteate. Example of bracteate is China rose and lily. An example of ebracteate is mustard. Position of floral leaves on thalamus. The arrangement or the relationship between different floral parts in context with its arrangement on thalamus. So on that basis, flower is of 3 types: hypogynous, epigynous and perigynous. This position shows the arrangement of floral leaves on thalamus in contact with the ovary. The first is called hypogynous condition. The hypogynous is condition in which the position of ovary is superior. It is at the topmost with regard to insertion of other floral parts like sepals, petals and stamen. You can see over here on the thalamus at the top ovary is present and other floral parts are below than the ovary. So such type of condition is called hypogynous condition, and such type of ovary is called superior ovary. Its position is superior to all other floral parts. It is a characteristic feature of families like Papilionaceae, Solanaceae, Liliaceae, etc. Such flowers are called hypogynous and such ovary is called superior ovary. The example, mustard, lily family, etc. The second condition is called epigynous condition. Epigynous condition where the position of ovary is at the lowermost. Here you can see the position of ovary is present over here and all the other floral parts are present at the upper level than the ovary. So the ovary is present at the lowest level inside the thalamus. It is found in the families like composite, Cucurbitaceae, etc. Such flowers are called epigynous flowers and such ovary is called inferior ovary. In guava plant we can find out such flowers. The third condition is called perigynous. Perigynous is a condition where ovary is half inside the thalamus and half outside it. It is partially inserted inside the thalamus. The ovary is said to be perigynous. The ovary can also be said here half superior. These flowers are called perigynous flowers and examples are rose, peach, plum, etc. So these are three types of flower on the basis of position of floral leaves on thalamus. Hypogynous, having ovary at the upper part of the thalamus. Epigynous, having ovary at the lowermost part of the thalamus. And perigynous, having ovary half inserted inside the thalamus and half free. So these three types of flowers can also be found. Hypogynous flower with superior ovary, epigynous flower with inferior ovary, and perigynous flower with half superior ovary. So students, this is your assignment time. Your assignment questions are given over there. Go through the video, watch the video carefully. You will get all the answers in the video itself and write down the answers of the question. The very first question is, define the following terms with example. You have to give definitions and examples. First, actinomorphic flower. Second, pentamerous flower. Third, bracteate flower. Fourth, hypogynous flower. And fifth, monoecious plant. The second question, what is inflorescence? Explain its types. You have to explain, you have to define inflorescence, and you will tell its types. You will explain these types with diagram. So these are two questions. See the video and write down the answers. Thank you.